This is a journey that I know I will be dealing with for the rest of my life, and I know many other people are still going to deal with it for the rest of their lives.
Hey guys, it's Kirby. Welcome back to Pretty Unfiltered. Today's guest is Troian Bellisario. Hey Troian.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
I was just telling her that I'm nervous because I like her so much. I think she's so cool that I want her to think I'm cool. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, see, you're so cool.
No way.
I thought you would respond that way.
No.
But today we're talking about her film Feed. We're going to talk about her personal ties to the movie. So let's just dive right in.
Yes, please.
All right, Troian, so Feed, I saw it this weekend. I loved it, I tweeted you about it.
Yes, that was actually like how we started this. I was like, wait, did you tweet at me? Because that was really, this is why you should not be nervous, because I'm actually like so excited to meet you and like hear what you thought about the film, and I'm so grateful that you watched it.
Well, it blew me away, first of all. Especially the subject matter and the way that you covered it. So you have mentioned that for you, an eating disorder was not about being skinny or losing weight, it was about control. How did you learn to let go of that control?
It's a constant process, you know, and I think that that's one of the, you know, for me, creating this film and speaking out about my experience publicly was really just to inspire people. This is often a mental illness that there's a lot of misunderstanding around it. And, you know, that's not to say that there are not issues with you know, body dysmorphia or with obsessions with weight or anything, but I wanted to create a story that could also convey that there are multiple different reasons that people could be behaving this way and could be struggling with this. For me, yes, there was a lot that was about wanting to have control, but also it's still a process today that I'm learning to move through. I think the important thing is to have a conversation about it, to not pretend like, I feel totally fine and I feel great and like everything's all better now.
Yeah, I just got over it magically. I don't think that there's one thing that happens and you're just like, great, I'm cured.
I really wanted to suggest to people that just like sobriety or just like dealing with a lot of other physical illnesses or mental illnesses, this is a journey that I know I will be dealing with for the rest of my life, and I know many other people are still going to deal with it for the rest of their lives. And that doesn't mean that you don't have other wonderful experiences and you don't, you know, reach a level of health that's much, much better.
Yeah.
But it's always a part of you.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it to be so cut and dry that it was like, oh, I had an eating disorder, or this character had an eating disorder and now she's better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to ask how you handled your eating disorder when you became famous. Were you still, I mean, like you just said, it's a journey, but joining a hit TV show, there's a lot of scrutiny, there's a huge fan base, there's maybe this pressure to be a certain way. How do you feel like that process went for you as you got the show, got Pretty Little Liars?
To borrow your words, it was really a journey. There were moments that I can look back and remember on the show that I felt like I was really struggling and was not doing well, and then there are other moments where my life sort of took on a momentum of its own and I felt like I got back on a healthy track. The big thing for me was being in constant treatment and constant therapy. Yeah. It's really important for me, particularly in going back and enacting this role in Feed. It was really important that I be in constant communication with my therapist and you know, be really open with everything that I was going through with my family and friends so that I couldn't hide. I couldn't dissolve back into the character and take on those actions and behaviors and then, you know, let my disease take the wheel again. It's a constant journey, and the scrutiny of being a woman in this industry, but also just being a person in this industry. It's for men and women. I have male actor friends who are just as scrutinized and just as objectified, and it's really tough. And I think the only way that we can get through this together as human beings and also not project it onto our audience, which I think is really important, is to talk about it. I wanted my fans to also understand that, like, I'm a person, and I'm a person that has a whole history, and I have a constant, you know, relationship with it that is ever changing. And so it was really important to me.
So 30 million people suffer from an eating disorder in the United States. Is there a particular story, since you've come out and told the world about this, from a fan that has really touched you and you thought, okay, wow, if this is helping one person, I need to keep talking about this?
Yeah, well, that was really why making Feed was so important to me. Was, you know, when I started to publicly speak out about it, I had written the script a long time ago before I got my show, and I wrote it, and I was kind of like, if it gets made, great. You know, it would be wonderful to get to put this film out there. But if not, I understand. And then when I decided to speak publicly about my history, I had a lot of young men and women approach me and say, thank you for speaking out, because it gave me the context and the support to speak to my parents and ask for help.
Wow, that's great.
And it was huge. That was huge for me. And that was when I really sort of like dug in my heels and was like, okay, this is really important for me to continue pushing out the conversation, to try to continue to inspire people to reach out to their friends that they are afraid or struggling with this, or, you know, their brothers or their sisters that they're worried about, or their children, because it's impossible to know what to say.
Exactly, and that's a follow-up question I had. You know, what would your advice be to somebody who is struggling to figure out how to not confront this, but talk to somebody who's going through it? Are there things that people should be noticing, like, oh, I feel like my friend or my sister or my brother might be going through something a little bit more serious than just not wanting to eat right now?
Yeah, well, I think that it's, you know, part of why I wrote Feed the way that I did was because I wanted to encourage people to challenge themselves and say, oh, this could be an eating disorder. I didn't really think of it like that. You know, I thought it was only this way, and maybe to question what their idea of mental illness is. And I also really wanted to encourage people after they watch the film, if it resonates with them. I've been working with the National Eating Disorders Association, and they're an incredible association. I feel so honored to get to work with them and just to be a part of what they're doing in any way possible. And they have this wonderful website that has, you know, signs, that has a toll-free hotline for you to be able to call and speak to professionals or seek help, or to try to encourage other people, you know, around you to seek treatment. Because like we were saying, I know I said it's impossible to know what to say, but really you just have to educate yourself.
Totally.
And so if I can do anything, it's just inspire people to educate themselves and then to have the conversation.
Exactly. Is there one thing that you've learned that people shouldn't say?
The main thing is, if you care about somebody and you see them suffering, the important thing is to speak to them. You know, I really don't want to say, like, don't say this or don't say this. There are a lot of things you can say that could end up being hurtful, but if your intention is to help somebody and to, in effect, save their life, then I would never want to discourage anybody from reaching out and having a conversation.
I got a fan question. What do you think about a PLL movie? Like, would that ever be something? I mean, never say never, but like...
Yeah, you never say never.
I feel like it was open-ended at the end of the series.
Yes.
But should we close the chapter? Like, do you have any feelings on that? Or are you just like, eh?
Well, I definitely, look, would I love to work with everybody again? Yes, in a heartbeat.
Of course.
It's a family, and if I had any excuse to work with that cast and crew and family again, it would be wonderful. Do I think that we have, like, told the story that we needed to tell and wanted to tell? Because the big thing for me, and I know it was really huge for everybody else on the show and for, you know, the creators and the writers, was we wanted the fans to feel like we told them a complete story, but we didn't want them to get bored.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that there were a lot of people who were like, I don't want it to end, I feel so sad, but at the same time, it's like, I would way rather you feel sad and miss it than have gotten bored and said like, ugh, is that thing still on?
Yeah, like overstayed your welcome almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, if we were going to do a film, you never say never, but also for me, it would have to have a lot of time go by so that we would understand why we were getting back into this.
Exactly.
If we were to just get back in with like you know, automatically I'm like, no, we did that. We closed that chapter.
Yep.
I want to know what's new and why we are finding ourselves with these characters now.
Troian, do you have anything that you want to say to your fans in terms of just advice or anything you want to let them know?
I first of all just want to say thank you for all of the support that you've given me over the years. And not only am I grateful to you, but I also, if I could offer any advice or really just talk to you, it would be that if you see the film Feed and you feel at all like you want to learn more about eating disorders or about, you know, if you question what you might be struggling with, please go to Nita They have a great website, and just kind of check it out. See if it speaks to you.
And guys, we're gonna link to Nita in the copy below so that you can just click away and go read up on it. All right, guys, let me know in the comment section below if there's anything that you want us to cover in upcoming episodes. Please let me know. The show is about you. You know where to find me. I'm at Kirby Johnson on Instagram and Twitter. And be sure to see Feed. It really is a fantastic film. And I'm not just saying that because she's sitting right next to me. It really is important. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.